So this is the Spitalfields Community Garden. This is a garden that came into sort of like a concept that came into existence in about 2010. It was a community coming together to take over this plot of land when it was given back to us by the East London line. It's completely traumatised soil. This is the boundaries of it here. You can just see it's about a quarter of an acre, with quite a large plot. We're really closely connected with the local communities. We've got, the communities come down here to produce their own foods, the community use this place to educate their children, the community use this place as a recreational place. People who come down here and use the farm come from all walks of life, and we can have everyone from a homeless person to an asylum seeker to a banker working together to take care of an animal, to look after a child, to tend the vegetables. So it really does bring all sectors of the community together, and everyone's got something to gain. I think there's a lot of underprivileged people in this country, and that includes financially underprivileged people, but also includes socially underprivileged people, which can include some very financially wealthy people.
Community gardening means many things. It means social cohesion. It means a way of promoting a better way of food growing as opposed to buying shrink wrap from Tesco's. People are becoming aware that if you grow your own food, it's far better tasting, and it's a tick box all the way through, because it's therapeutic in a way that you enjoy doing it. It keeps you fit, and it lessens the obesity and diabetes level, which is very prevalent in East London at this moment in time. A school decided to become a member of the East London Garden Society, and there was a member of the East London Garden Society about 20 yards away. It was a community garden. These two people never met. The school had no gardeners available. They had the raised beds, they had the tools, they had the soil, etc. But they had nobody to teach them how to garden. But we got together with our member from 200 yards away and introduced them to the school. This is what about connecting and being brought together under one umbrella, which is called gardening, and promotion thereof.
It's all about land, property, ownership, privacy, and so on, and privilege, etc. And that's the kind of the gentle or the soft, the harmless side, and the edgy side in one. As soon as you start to claim someone's land or use it without permission, a lot of guerrilla gardening happens on public land, on waste sites, which is owned by a council, i.e. us, and then but nobody does anything with it, and the council doesn't take care of it. And that's been the case for 30 or 40 years of that kind of activism around wasted public land. But I think when it's private land, there's a more critical edge to it, because you are making that squatting, land grabbing gesture.
There's something quite harmless about planting and something quite edgy about it as well, and it's that, I guess, that articulation which is interesting for me. The fact that when people passing by, they're like, "What the hell are you doing? That's not your piece of land." It's okay, we're just planting things, they're just flowers, plants, vegetables, you can eat them. But at the same time, there's that edge, and people do understand that. That's what I'm interested in.
Just to say that the farm is now 33 years old, Spitalfields farm, but it actually started as squatted land because some people were knocked off their allotment sites because of development, and so squatted this land. So 33 years later, it's still here from that sort of act of defiance. We've got a 25-year lease, which feels quite short to some, you were saying, Rosanna, but I guess you just got to keep going.
The community garden kind of came into being in 2010, and it came from a consultation with the community about what they wanted to create. It was about coming together to grow food. This space was released to us from the East London line. They were using it for parking vehicles during the build construction, so it's very, very traumatised grounds, lots of aggregate poured onto it, smashed down, really sort of like not a living space. So it's about bringing that back to life. I think the thing about the whole community garden angle is that it's a new way of coming together to grow food. It's been very traditional, sort of like work very much in isolation, to have your own allotment, to have your own garden. The community brings people back together and gets people back interacting and working together and connecting. So it's very much two outcomes from community garden. One is a food outcome and the other is a social outcome.
The allotment doesn't just connect us as the youth group of lesbian and bisexual women, because we also do, at the centre where we're based, we also have a mixed session where each of men and women, and we use the food that we grow, we take back to the centre and then we make food for everyone, so it connects us all in the way of food and conversation. And then not only that, whilst we're growing, we'll talk about how we grow the food and how we plant the food and why, what we need to do to nurture that food to make it grow. And like from that, we've had young people who have taken snippets from things on our allotment pot and taken them home and then come back after they might not come for ages, and then they'll come back and go, oh my goodness, like, I now have a whole pot full of mint because I took one tiny clipping from it. And I think for us, to watch the young people learn that and then come back and then teach other young people that, I think that's what we're about, and we want to pass that knowledge on.
I think that one of the essential things as well is that in community is communication, and that in community gardens you don't just speak to people, you're embodied in an action together with people, but not only with people, also with plants, other living beings, and therefore there's a much richer communication than, I don't know if you've ever tried sex rooms on the internet, but they're not very you know what I mean. You know, textual communication, visual communication is good. It's great, you know, the internet is brilliant even for the community garden movement as well, but in order of human communication lacks that kind of embodied side. And also I just want to say that when you say community garden, always remember that the community includes also the beings that are in the soil, the beings that you're growing. Not to limit it to just people, because I think that might in the future cause a bit of issues in who's a community. So the community garden is also the plants, I guess, you know, that are in the community. They're also there, and we're interacting with them. So.